look out there now. What is today? What is today? Today is Friday. And what's so awesome about Friday? Friday means that you get another opportunity for a CareSouth Carolina Community Live podcast with your host, Daniel Myers, and my partner in crime that's back there behind the scenes, behind the CareSouth logo, Marette Calhoun, who's having some video issues and some audio issues this afternoon. So we're going to really bring you some information today that's going to really change your mindset about your finances, about your credit. So we got an awesome guy on today, Mr. Marcus Brown, who I met over a year ago now, going on 2 years ago, and we are also fraternity brothers for one of the most unique fraternities in the United States, or in the world, actually, right? We're a military fraternity, and we're the best and the first military fraternity, Kappa Lambda Chi. So, so without further ado, I want to introduce to some and present to others Marcus Brown, and let him tell you a little bit about why he's here and who he is. Take it away, Mr. Brown.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. As he said, my name is Marcus Brown. I'm going to give you a little story about myself, okay? I did 21 years in the Army in healthcare, all right? I retired in 2014, and I was like, what do I want to do with my life after the fact? One thing that stuck out to me the most is I didn't want to be part of the 40-40-40 club. Now, you may be asking yourself, what does that mean? Okay. I don't want to work 40 hours to get 40% of my retirement and to work for 40 years just to get it. So that's what I mean by 40-40-40, okay? 40 hours, 40 years for 40% of what I work for, okay? My biggest thing right now is financial literacy, okay? What is financial literacy? It's nothing really, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. Basically, it's a set of knowledge and skills that relate to finances. That means how well do we deal with finances, okay? So let me give you a little tidbit. In America, there is over $1 trillion of credit card debt that we've created, okay? COVID can take responsibility for a lot of that. But what do we end up having to do? You know, those of us who got laid off, those of us who had to stay home because of the kids, those are who hours got cut. So you had to dig into your savings, okay? 50% of the people in the US have not saved for a rainy day, okay? Why is that? I use COVID again, okay? 46% of the baby boomers have less than $10,000 saved for retirement. 40% of millennials are spending more to keep up with their friends. What I mean by that is, have y'all seen when the new Jordans come out, right? You got that long line wrapped around the building. They don't have the money for it, or they will rob Peter to pay Paul just to get those new Jordans. And that's what I mean by trying to keep up with the friends, okay? And the last thing, over 43 million people in the US have less than a 600 credit score. Why is that? That goes back to financial literacy, okay? Financial literacy is not taught, and it takes time to change that mindset. One thing I want you to understand too, some people don't realize that they don't have the house or they don't have the car they want, because spending money on the holidays and vacations have always been the priority over fixing their credit, saving some money, and embracing, income earning opportunities that can make them some extra income. So let me ask y'all a question. When it comes to the credit bureaus, do y'all know that they're not a federal agency? They're not a government agency. That is a for-profit agency who sells your information, or should I say your debt. And when you pay that debt, guess what? That doesn't mean it's coming off your credit report. That means you just gave that other company who bought your debt some extra money, okay? I tell people, if you have something in collections, don't pay it. And they look at me like, what you mean, don't pay it? I said, don't pay it. Because again, that money is going to somebody else. Now, what do I have in place? This is where I come in at, okay? I have many resources that can help you with increasing your credit score, and also different letters, lawyers, credit lawyers that can actually help you take care of all these issues when it comes to your credit report. Okay, so yeah, some people say, oh, I can do it on my own. Yeah, you possibly can do it on your own, but are you doing it correctly? Do you have all the documentation that's going to back you up with it? Okay, I have credit attorney lawyers that backs me up. And so when you send these letters off, for the most part, your stuff is going to come off your credit report within 45 to 60 days. So that's basically what I'm here to talk about. I'm open to any questions that anybody may have pertaining to credit. Pastor Sean, if they have anything, if not, I'll take it, continue to go.
Yeah, so I got a question. So you said that my collections accounts, like the ones I get called and said, look, this call is, this call is for, for
Okay,
debt.
I know exactly where you're going with that. Okay, first of all, that's illegal.
Okay.
That's illegal, people. They should not be calling you. And those places, they're trained to keep you on the phone for 60 seconds so you can admit that the debt is yours. Okay? Either don't answer the phone, or hang up on them, or you tell them contact you in writing with the address that they have on file. Don't admit it.
Okay, yeah, because I know that this is happening a lot, especially since the pandemic. That there's a bunch of phone calls, a bunch of people that's saying this about your credit, saying that we have acquired your account, we have acquired your information from such and such. Just for instance,
Yeah.
People with hospital bills, right? And they send it to somebody else to get it. I think that you were saying that those people who they sold it to have no legitimate right or no legal right to your information or to that account because they're not your actual creditors. Am I right?
Yeah, that is correct. And then if you guys ever watch the news, they finally passed this bill to where, I think it's July, to where medical bills are coming off your credit report anyways. Truthfully, that stuff should have never been on there. But again, that is something else that we can help you guys with, you know. Um, and one thing when it comes to the credit scores, a low credit score, it can really hurt you. It can really hurt you. When I say that, I mean, as far as getting a house, trying to get a car, I mean, those interest rates are outlandish. We all hit hard times one way or another. So it should be embarrassing, but it's never too late for you to fix it. Okay. I can tell you a quick story about myself. I mean, when I started off at a young age, I had a 535 credit score. I didn't care about that. I said, listening to what people used to say, oh, in 7 years, it'll fall off. It may not happen, but if you look at your credit report, I guarantee you most of that stuff is on there. Now, one of the questions I did get is, how is your credit score calculated? Okay. Payment history. That's 35% of it, your payment history. You have to pay that stuff on time, and I understand things happen, okay? The other 30% is the credit utilization. You have to keep your credit cards down to at least, I know it's kind of hard to say, especially if we're trying to live with it, but try to keep it at 30%, okay? The length of credit, that means the time that you've had said credit, 15%, keep it down there. New credit inquiries, 10%, and that's how it's all calculated. So altogether, that comes up to be 100% of your credit. So 35% is paying your bills on time. When it comes to late payments, I have a system in place that can actually help you. I have certain letters that I can have created and I've sent to the credit bureaus to have something removed from your credit report or a forgiveness letter. So there's a couple of avenues that we can go on. So bottom line is I'm here to help. And I'll give you all the information towards the end.
I got a question, Mr. Brown.
Yes.
So I just we just went through income tax season, right?
Mm-hmm.
and I went and acquired a whole bunch of things, right? And so also during income tax season, there's a bunch of a bunch of letters and texts that come out and say, apply for this credit card, apply for this credit card. Um, what is the average credit card debt? Mr. Brown said it. I think he left. I think we lost him. Marek, you still there? Okay. I think we're having some technical difficulties on all parties except myself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I lost you. I lost you for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay, I'm sorry. You were saying something. I apologize.
well, everybody's been given these offers to get credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea because I know I'm worried about inquiries. I'm worried about having all these inquiries on my credit score. So
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit of history about me. I didn't care about paying bills when I got in the military.
Understand.
That was my mindset. I can care
Yep.
less about bills. I just did what I had to do to survive. And so when it was time for me to utilize my credit, when I finally went to go get something that I really wanted. Now I know a lot of people don't believe this, but my credit score was like 380. Right.
And that's true because they range from 300 to 850. So you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So mine was 380. So people didn't even give me a second look. It was an automatic no because I had a 380 credit score. And I didn't understand why, I make the money and I got the finances to pay it. So why won't you just let me get it? I mean, you see my bank, you see my bank statement, you see my my check stub, so I make the money. But what I didn't understand was that the credit score showed my worthiness
Yep.
to
You're a
pay it,
liability.
right? And my liability. And
Yep.
so it's important that we understand that those numbers tell whether or not we are a liability or an asset when it comes to lenders.
It's true.
So I know you said utilizing 30% of your credit card. That's hard to do, Brother Brown, whenever you
It is.
depending on that credit card for
It is.
bills and everything else.
And you're right.
So how can you advise us and how can you help us out with that?
Well, I would say that's a perfect world, especially for those of us who are living, or should I say, getting by trying to use that credit card. One thing you can do is ask for an increase with your credit card, and that way it'll kind of balance out. But again, if we were in a perfect world, that would be great, you know. But yeah, that would be the best way is increase your credit limit. Okay. What I'll do is I give 7 quick tips, right, that boost your credit score. Number one, like I said earlier, clean up the credit report. Let's go through this thing and make sure stuff that is in collections or anything that may or may not be on there, let's get it off. Let's start there. Another tip I like to give, pay twice a month. So for those credit card bills, right? A tip I tell people is this: 15 days before it's due, make a payment.
That's right.
3 days before it's actually due, make the rest of that payment. People, it looks like you did 2 payments. That's how it's registered. That kind of gets you ahead. Okay. Obviously, to pay down your balance piece, that's hard sometimes, but you have to get those with the high interest rates. Let's try to knock those down. Okay. And Pastor Sean, I talked about the increase your credit limit. That's another way. Okay. Be an authorized user. Okay, that is a way you can also help your kids. Okay, if you're a very responsible person when it comes to your credit cards, add your kids to your credit card as an authorized user. Okay, so when your payments are on time, guess what? It shows that their payments are on time, and that actually helps build up their credit. Okay, and if it all comes down to it in the end, all right, negotiate the outstanding balance. Okay, that's if you chose to go that route. But again, after everything that I just told you, you can also bring all that back to me, and I will help get you in the right direction.
Wait a minute, Mr. Mark. You lost me for a minute. So if I got some kids that I'm trying to teach financial literacy, in order to give them a head start, I can add them as users to my account.
Yes,
Whenever I'm paying on time, it's as if they're paying on time too.
exactly.
Man,
Yes.
that is something right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was my mom to make
That
when
is
this
that
stuff?
is that's something that we again, it goes back to that financial literacy. I'll just say that much. Okay. But yes, that is a way to help your kids jumpstart their credit. You know, just like you and I stated before, we came in younger. It was like, I don't care about this. I don't care about that. But people, credit is power. Credit is power. You know, if you had a choice of having an 800 credit score and $1 million, believe it or not, that 800 credit score goes a whole lot further than that $1 million. Credit is power. But yes, that would definitely help your kids out.
Wow. And so I wish I knew this early on. Um, but I'm glad I'm learning, a lot of stuff that you're teaching. I'm learning because financial literacy is very, very important. It's a difference between having uh, a 2001 car and a 2022 car.
Yes.
Because my 2022 car payments can be the same as my 2001 car. You know what I'm saying? It just depends because I got bad credit. All I can afford is that older car, but it's still going to give me a higher interest rate, and my payments are going to be higher. So
Yeah,
how does
let me give you an example on that one. I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be my next point. Okay, so let's look at it like this: bad credit versus good credit when you purchase an automobile. All right, let's say we have a $20,000 car loan, 5 years. If you have a credit score of less than 560, right, your interest rate can probably be around 22 to 28%. Okay, your monthly payments are going to be $899, give or take. You just paid $15,929 interest on a $20,000 car loan. Your credit score 720 and above. Let's say 6% interest rate. Okay, your monthly payments would be about $387, $400. You said that's almost half of what you would pay if the credit was less than 560. Interest on that, a little more than $3,000. People, that's almost 5 times the difference when it comes to the interest. So again, credit is power.
And so I mean, this is good because at the same time, we work in a high stress field in healthcare, and
Yes.
so finances is always to me is always an issue when it comes to people working in healthcare because we never make enough, right? Or we
Right.
feel like we don't make enough. But I don't think it's not the point of us making enough. We don't know how to manage what we make, right? So it puts us in a stressful situation, which increases our anxiety, right? Which leads
Yes.
to depression, which also leads to poor performance on your job because now you're just working to survive. You lost your passion for what you do, and you're just working to survive. So financial literacy can kind of void all of those things and keep you happy doing what you're doing and let you manage the money that you make. So it seems like you'll have a whole lot more in your pocket than you actually had before. So
That's true. But let me give you I'm gonna give you 3 quick facts about money. Okay. If you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage $10,000. Okay. You don't suddenly learn how to handle money by getting more of it. Okay. And this is why a lot of people who win the lottery, that's why they lose it all because that's not what they were used to. Okay. And also financial literacy, it's not a side effect of wealth, but wealth is a side effect of financial literacy.
wow.
So
So what you're saying is I can make all the money in the world unless I know how to manage how to
Yes,
pay my
sir.
bills on time, manage my finances, you know, come up with a budget and just keep an eye on what I'm doing, then it don't really matter what I make.
It don't matter because you're not going to keep it.
And I'm always going to be in poverty, right?
Yes, sir. Sure will.
Wow. So for the young people who don't believe in paying bills, that's something that I teach in my house for my kids. That paying bills is important. Paying bills on time is important.
Yes.
You know, not just paying them. You know, you don't wait until you get to the due date to pay your bills, right? I was told by a lender one time, said, well, if you wait and pay your bill after the due date, then you're already late. In my mind.
Yes.
That you have 30 days up until the point where your last payment is due to the next one to pay the bill. Don't pay after the due date. Pay before the due date.
Yes.
And it really helps your credit score. You know, I told people that I told y'all that I started with a 380 something, and you know, I felt sorry for my wife because I couldn't give her nothing. You know what I'm saying? Everything we got for the secondhand man. You know, not even firsthand, secondhand. And so I promised her that if you just stick with me and you know and let me get a little more mature and build myself back up in those things that you wanted, I'll be able to give it to you. Not saying I had to have the money to do it, but whenever you got credit is better than money. Credit is better than any type of money that you can never have because credit can go far beyond what I can see in dollar signs. You know, a person, you know, having a person's confidence in your ability to handle assets from them is a whole lot more important than them just giving me $5 because that can transcend whatever I need from them. And so I'm not gonna tell people my credit score is now, but my credit score is I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Right? I can always be better, but I'm okay.
Yep. Hey, unless you have a perfect credit score, we can always increase it some kind of way. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's a couple of tips I want to give to people, man, for setting financial goals. Okay. One thing about it, okay, just focus on whatever that particular goal is. Number one, find a mentor, somebody who can guide you, somebody can give you the information, because a lot of times, hey, we're too proud to ask for help, too proud to try to get the information from other people. You know, sometimes that pride is what's going to set you on your butt, literally. Okay. Make sure your goals are achievable. Okay. Let's not come out and say, oh, I'm going to save $1 million tomorrow. Come on, let's be realistic about this. Okay. You know, be specific with your goals. Write them down. I know some people who have vision boards, but write it down. Okay. Talk to other people about your goals. You know, so there's some people out there who will support you. Obviously, we know there's those who don't want to see you get ahead either.
Right.
Prioritize those goals. Okay. What's more important or what can be achieved faster? Okay. And lastly, visualize yourself achieving those goals.
So I got a question. So somebody has said, how can we teach our kids financial literacy if we as parents don't have adequate tools to teach them?
Okay, that just goes back to what I just said about finding mentors, finding somebody who is willing to help. You know, again, we all didn't learn this stuff. I mean, Pastor Sean, like you and I talked about numerous times. I mean, we grew up different than what we're trying to raise our kids now. I mean, so it's never too late. Okay. Once we're almost done with this podcast, I would give you or whoever that was my information and we could talk privately. You know, I understand this may not be the forum for everybody. I got it, you know, but that's what I'm here for, to help you get ahead.
Right. Enough. I understand that finances is a private situation.
Yes.
But it has public consequences.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Being afraid to discuss my inability and my immaturity when it comes to handling finances is going to only benefit me in the long run, because it's through me speaking out that I can get the maturity and the education I need so I can be better. And it's never too late to start being better at managing your finances.
I have 2 words for that, Pastor. It's called growth mindset. Okay?
Growth mindset.
Growth mindset. And together we can achieve it. You just have to believe it. You just have to believe it. You know, I read this thing this morning that says, if you have a dream that matters to you, it's time for you to make it happen. You have to prove to your haters and those naysayers that it can be done. Inspire the people around you to expand their vision of what's possible. So
That's pretty good.
believe in yourself. Stop doubting yourself. It's
Yeah.
never too late.
Well, I got a story. My daughter, and I don't think she mind me telling this because I'm glad we caught this early, because sometimes you just assume that people know, right? And you think that some things are common sense, but over time we understand that common sense is not that common, right?
Exactly.
So whenever she opened her first bank account, she got these checks.
Mm-hmm.
She figured, long as she had checks, she had money. She thought that all those checks represent all the money that she had in the bank, so she could write something on all those checks, and there'll always be something in the bank to cover. And so it was an opportunity. Every moment is a teaching moment for me.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity to show her that if you write more than what you got in the bank, first of all, you're going to have to pay extra fees for that. It's called overdraft, right?
Yes.
So since you already show it, that's an additional $35 on top of what you already owe. Not to mention that whoever you wrote it to could also have a penalty, which is more money. I said, and then it can get so bad until the bank closes your account for inadequate funds or inability to manage your funds. And so you won't have the opportunity for a banking establishment no more. I said, so what you have to do is keep a log of what you got, what you start with, and what you take out, and you constantly monitor your register to make sure that you have enough money to cover your expenses. And then only buy things that are really, really necessary to buy, especially if you're living with your parents. Don't splurge. Now, my other child, right? My son, the one that loved the Jordans, hey, to him, money just come out of thin air. Right? So if he see 5 or 6 pair of Jordans, he going to buy it, and then tomorrow he asking you for money for crackers, right? Yeah. Because his priorities are wrong. So teaching our kids priority and how your finances need to be main priority in your development to adulthood, because this is going to start the pathway of how you're going to live the rest of your life, either paycheck to paycheck or comfortably having something set aside for later or for hardships. Always, and I use this analogy. I never go in the refrigerator and drink everything out of a container, right? Because somebody might need something later, or I may need some more later. So I always leave something there for another opportunity. Don't drain it all. I don't know when emergency is going to come, right? Stephanie can go and get mad at me and have all the water turned off. But if I drink all the water out the jug, then I don't have anything left, right? Yeah. If I save a little bit, then I always have that to go back to and rely on in hardship. So teaching the children to always put something aside. Don't spend every dime that you got. Yeah.
A while back, I posted a thing about, I used the Jordan sneaker as a post. And, a lot of us just got our tax money back or still waiting on your tax refunds, right? So what I said is, these cost more than you fixing your credit.
Yeah.
What I have to offer costs less than Jordan's. Mm-hmm. Which is more important? Looking good for that moment, or building financial wealth?
Building financial wealth. That's what we need.
Hey, unless you're a sneakerhead and those Jordans going to bring you value down the road, okay, I got it. But we know 9 times out of 10, that's not the case.
Well, to Javier, I'm calling his name. To Javier's benefit, he do wear his for like a few weeks, and then he clean them up and take them to Cosmic Souls, and he get money back on. So
smart.
So he save them, because whenever he needs something, he know that. I told him this is the same thing as money. It's the same thing as investing. You're putting something aside and you're creating wealth over here. So whenever you need something, you got something to draw from. But if there is nothing in the bank, then you cannot draw anything if you don't have anything in there.
That's right.
And so that's why I think a lot of times, as being in the healthcare, we come to work and we're beat down, and we're distraught because we got other issues going on that don't even relate to our job, but it's a direct reflection of our work ethics whenever we get here. If our finances are bad and we're not making ends meet at home, then we're not going to be happy coming to work. Exactly. So having this podcast is going to help people have a healthy life, a happy life at home, and then it'll transition into the happy life here at work or wherever they work.
Yeah. Hey, another thing I want people to also understand, Getting your credit repaired is not a bill. It's not a bill.
It's an investment.
That's a down payment on your future.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't look at it as, oh man, I ain't got the money to spend on this. Yes, you do. It's that growth mindset that we just talked about. Yes, you do. Make them sacrifices, but it'll pay off in the end. I can promise you that.
That's right.
Absolutely. Some good information, man. I tell you, it's important that the kids understand early on, and young adults early on, how much their credit and that impact their financial health as older adults.
Yes.
I know when I was young, I had a football coach of mine who was also a car salesman, pulled my credit trying to get a car. He said, "Son, you couldn't get an ice cream cone on credit."
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you end up what ends up happening is you get those subprime rates, and you paying when you could be paying 10-15% interest on that car, you paying 29-30% on the interest on that car.
Exactly.
Instead of a $250 car payment, you got a $500-600 car payment on that car.
Yes.
So yeah, it's definitely important.
Hey,
And
Mr.
not to
Calhoun, let me say this real quick after what you just said. Okay, so I tell people this also. If you think that credit repair is expensive, try buying something with bad credit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yes, so you just double whatever it is you're trying to do, sometimes triple.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I told my son this because he's talking about buying a car, trading this car, getting another car. And I said, well, the problem is, first of all, you in school and you're a student, you don't have income.
Yeah.
I said, so if you don't have income, don't pick up a bill. So he was like, well, they offer us credit cards at school. I was like, do you have a job to pay back that payment?
Yeah.
And he was like, nah. I said, well, you cannot depend on nobody else to you can't depend on me to care about your credit. You have to care about your own credit. And you have to take responsibility for your own financial obligations. I said, so just say if you was able to go out and get you a car right now. I said, the only thing you can afford is a car that'll be towed before the life of the payment is done. Right? So you have to get you an older car that with a million miles on it, that's not going to last the life of that loan that you got. So now you're paying for something that you don't even have, that you can't even drive. Where if you save your money and increase your credit score, we can get you a modern, a car that's more up to date, with lower payments, with longer longevity. Right, the car lasts longer, and plus you can get lower what's the things called payments. You can get payments and fewer installments.
Yep.
Right. So it's important that we pay attention to what we purchase and how we purchase it, and make sure that we got the money to cover our purchases, because credit will let you get anything, right?
Yeah.
But credit ain't gonna give you the money to pay for it.
Nope.
So
That's true. That is so true. Oh man.
Yeah, this is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful, man. We definitely appreciate you coming on and imparting some of that wisdom on us. Like we said in the post, this is April is Financial Literacy Month, so this is just the first part in a hopefully a series that we can take part throughout the month of April to get people the information they need to get themselves their financial health. We talk about, we're CareSouth, South Carolina, and we talk about physical, mental, and spiritual health, but we also want to make sure that our patients and the folks in our community have take care of their financial health as well. So
Exactly.
we brought the Dr. Mr. Brown on here, Dr. Brown on here to help us out with that today, and he gave us some nuggets. So Dr. Brown, if you don't mind, if someone wants to have a conversation with you about their financial health and literacy, how can they get in touch with you?
Okay, feel free. This is everybody. Okay, area code 719-232-8689. Also, you can find me on Facebook, Marcus Brown. It's the pretty guy in the suit. Okay, so let me stop. But yeah, you can get in contact with me that way. And Mr. Calhoun, Mr. Myers, before I leave, I want to say one more thing. Okay, I'm gonna drop a nugget, one more nugget for people. How many of y'all are familiar with Credit Karma?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that if you file a dispute on Credit Karma, you're waiving your rights to arbitration?
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I heard you if you because you file it electronically rather than sending it via mail, you forfeit all your rights. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Stay away from it.
I'm here to answer any questions, folks. I'm here to help you.
Give it to us one more time.
719-232-8689, or you can find me on Facebook, Marcus Brown.
And we appreciate it again, man. We appreciate it. You bringing those nuggets to us and helping us get our financial health in order. And just like him, CareSouth Carolina, you want to get your health in order and your mental health in order.
Yes.
You can reach us at www.caresouth-carolina.com or 866-498-0399. And if I could, if you are in Bishopville, Lee County area tomorrow, April 9th at Chappelle Park, from 10 to I think it's 10 to 2. 10 to 12, I'm sorry, April 9th, 10 to 12, Chappelle Park. We're having an oral health screening. It's an oral health screening event tomorrow. There'll be a puppet show. There'll be Zumba. There'll be vaccines given. There'll be some home test kits being given out. There's food. There's fun. Stop through. Again, at Chappelle Park in Bishopville tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., the oral health event. We partner with some community partners, DHEC Oral Health Division, as well as some other community partners to make that happen tomorrow. So if you're in the Bishopville area, check us out.
And also, if you or anybody that you know is dealing with substance abuse, whether it be alcohol, drugs, prescription drugs, illegal drugs, please contact us at the number below and ask for our MAT department. We'd be more than glad to get you into treatment, help you seek help, get you into a life of sobriety. That's what we're here for, to help you at any capacity that we can. So just reach out to us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely.